welcome to this deep dive. Today, we're stepping into some pretty shadowy places deep into the woods. We're exploring these, well, really chilling stories from Twilight Whispers, Three Tales of the Haunted Woods. Our goal here is to sort of dig into what makes these tales tick, the fears they tap into, maybe some surprising ideas hidden in there. We've got disappearances, silent watchers, even pranks gone very wrong. So try to peel back those layers, understand why they feel so unsettling, and what they might say about us and how we see these wild, unknown places. So yeah, get ready. Might feel a bit of a chill. We're heading into where things get a little blurry, reality and legends. Let's get into it. Okay, first up is The Whispering Lullaby of Alara. This one is, well, it's heartbreaking, but also seriously chilling. It all centers on this one spot by a huge fallen oak tree. You can probably picture it.
Yeah, and what grabs you straight away, I think, isn't just the story itself, but those little details. That slight drop in temperature they mentioned, the air getting that's such a classic folklore thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like a warning sign. It sets the stage, tells you this isn't just someone getting lost. The woods themselves feel involved.
It really does. And it makes the tragedy feel even sharper. We meet Alara, she's maybe 10 years old, with eyes the color of the summer sky. Her laugh is described as delicate and fleeting. She loved these woods, apparently knew every sun-dappled path, and this clearing by the oak, that was her spot. Gathering wildflowers, wild lupine, trillium, bluebells, stuff like that.
And her parents, well, they worried, naturally, but they let her go until this one evening. Sounds a lot like the kind of evening described in the story, actually. Alara's mother calls for her, that gentle, melodic call. No answer. Her dad joins in, they're getting more worried, their lanterns making these frantic, dancing shadows, but they go back to the cabin and it's silent. Alara's just gone.
Yeah. Days bled into weeks, search parties, the whole thing. They found absolutely nothing. No ribbon, no dropped flowers, not even a shoe, nothing. It was, like the text says, as if the very earth had simply opened up and swallowed her whole. Officially. A child lost to the vast and different wilderness. Simple tragedy. But, that's not the whole story the locals tell.
Not at all. That's where the real folklore, the creepy part begins. The old-timers, they whispered something else, something far more chilling. They say on certain nights, full moon, heavy in the sky, and the air gets freezing like it steals your breath. You can hear this humming, faint, ethereal. It's described as achingly beautiful and profoundly unsettling, like a child's lullaby drifting on the air.
Right. And if you're brave enough, or maybe just stupid enough, to follow that sound, it leads you right here, to the fallen tree, this exact spot. And there, in the leaves and moss, you find one single flower. Perfect. But it's not like the others she picked. It's described as unlike any you've ever seen. It seems to glow, pulsating with a soft, otherworldly light, and even throbbing with a faint, sorrowful heartbeat. Super weird.
And here's the warning. If you actually touch it, if your fingers brush that glowing flower, you feel something else. A tiny hand, impossibly cold, no bigger than a child's, just brushes against yours. So light. Just for a second, but it leaves this icy tremor. And then the humming gets louder. It feels like it's wrapping around you like this invisible shroud, a mournful embrace.
And then the final bit. That little cold hand starts to pull, gently, almost like it's barely there, but it's pulling you deeper into the dark, calling you to join Alara's silent chorus.
Yeah, the ending is bleak. No one who has truly followed the humming, it says, no one who has felt that cold, spectral touch has ever returned truly whole. Some come back, just staring. Empty. Others, they just vanish completely. Like Alara, it's this lullaby that never ends, always seeking new voices. This one really hits on that fear of loss, especially losing a child, but twists it. Nature isn't just indifferent here, it's consuming, almost predatory.
From something that kind of lures you in, we shift gears now,
Yeah.
to something that just watches. Did you hear that? Probably just the wind. But it sets the mood, right? That feeling of stillness, the air getting heavier. This next story, it's not about vanishing into something, it's about something appearing. Something that silently, patiently waits.
And this one involves her grandfather, right? A really interesting character setup. Hands like oak roots, well, like granite. A logger, face down bears, blizzards, didn't flinch. That strength makes what happens next even more impactful, I think. It establishes the stakes.
Exactly. He wasn't easily spooked.
Yeah.
So it was late autumn, smells like damp earth and decaying leaves. He's the last one leaving the site, driving his old Ford pickup down this narrow, winding dirt road. You know the type.
And as he comes around this really sharp, blind bend, his headlights described as weak and yellow. Great detail they hit this figure, standing right in the middle of the road, and it's described as impossibly tall, unnaturally gaunt. Just this stark, menacing silhouette.
Hmm.
He was adamant, apparently. It wasn't human, not truly. Said its skin looked like old tree bark, gnarled and rough, like the woods themselves had stood up.
Yeah, but the eyes, that was the part that really got him. He called them two burning embers, glowing with this intense, like, knowing kind of malice. Said they pierced straight through the windshield, straight through the very core of him. Pinned him right there. Just the description gives me chills.
And while he's just frozen there, the figure, it starts to move. Slowly, like agonizing, almost deliberate slowness. It starts to raise an arm, a long, skinny finger, the joint almost too sharp, pointing
Right.
at him. That slow, deliberate movement is terrifying. It implies intelligence, purpose, not just some random creature.
Absolutely. And he didn't even think, just pure primal terror. Slammed the truck into reverse. You can almost hear the gears grinding and just floored it. Didn't look back. Not once.
Drove straight home, burst in the door, white as a sheet, shaking like a leaf. His grandmother, she just knew, didn't need asking, knew it wasn't just a deer he saw, it was something else. A ghost, maybe worse. He swore, for days after he could still feel that gaze, like it was burned onto the back of his head. A searing, icy chill deep in his bones.
And that was it for him. After that night, he never, ever went back into those woods after dark. Ever. He was convinced that thing, the Watcher in the Woods, is still out there. Its ancient burning eyes just scanning the darkness, waiting. And sometimes, the story goes, if the wind is just right, you might hear this sound. Low, raspy breathing. Not quite a sigh, not quite a whisper. Just watching, waiting.
It's a different kind of fear from Alara's story, isn't it? Not being lured, but being seen. Hunted, maybe? That ancient, malevolent intelligence just observing you from the shadows? Brr!
Okay, one more, and this one. It's a reminder that sometimes the games we play, the pranks, they can go really, really wrong. And maybe the punchline isn't what you expect, or who you expect it's on. Can you feel that? Like the air just shifted a tiny bit. A little echo, maybe? Something that shouldn't linger. Okay, maybe I'm getting spooked to myself.
Well, this story starts innocently enough. Familiar scene, group of young friends camping out, right here, this exact spot. Full of energy, laughing, telling ghost stories around the fire. You know, typical camping stuff.
Yeah, and one of them is Mark. He's the Joker, the undisputed life of the party, always pulling pranks. So the ghost stories get a bit intense, and Mark gets this wicked grin, says he's going to sneak off, circle around, jump out, and scare them. Classic Mark, apparently. His friends just roll their eyes, dare him, laugh it off. They're used to it.
So Mark slips away. Melting effortlessly, it says, into the dense, inky blackness, away from the firelight. And they wait and wait. A few minutes turn into 10, then 15. The laughing stops. Banter dies down. Just uneasy quiet. They start calling his name. Tentative at first, then louder. Worry starts creeping in. Real concern.
They search all night. Frantic. Nothing. Mark's just gone. But then as dawn breaks, they find something. Something grim and really weird. His footprints, clear as day in the damp ground, leading right up to the base of that big fallen tree again, right here. And then they just stop, abruptly. Gone.
Right. No other marks, no sign of a struggle, no disturbed leaves around, no other footprints leading away, nothing. It was, and this is the chilling part, as if he had simply ascended, vanished, ceased to exist right here. Just poof, Mark was never seen again.
But like Alara's story, that's not quite the end. The real story, the legend, keeps going. They say ever since that night, on evenings just like this one, when the air is super still, fireflies dancing around like little mischievous spirits. Sometimes you can hear it, a laugh, faint, kind of distorted. Not a normal laugh, more like a lingering chuckle, a sound of pure chilling delight.
And the absolute creepiest part, sometimes right after that weird chuckle, you hear a whisper, like whine through dry leaves, it says. Barely audible, just one word.
Gotcha. Gives me the shivers. They say whatever got Mark, whatever thought his prank was just hilarious, it's still here, playing its own messed up game. And if you listen really, really closely, sometimes you might even hear another laugh mixed in. Faint, almost impossible to place. Mark's own chuckle, maybe. Joining in that creepy laughter. Forever trapped in the woods, endless macabre jest.
Wow. That one's a nasty twist. It's like a warning. It is how the woods themselves feel. Alive. Almost conscious. It's not just a place where bad things happen. In each story, the woods act. They lure, they watch, they even seem to have this dark sense of humor with Mark. It's presented as this ancient, aware force that's more unnerving than just a monster, I think. Right? The humming you follow, the eyes you feel but maybe don't fully see, The laugh with no source.
Yes. Yes.
It plugs directly into those really deep fears. The unknown, losing control, disappearing without a trace, facing something ancient and intelligent that we just can't understand. So even though each horror is different, being lured, being watched, being trapped in a joke, they all leave you with that same feeling. These woods hold secrets that just don't fit into our neat, rational world. And that's scary because it's elusive.
So thinking about all this, what's the takeaway for us listening to this? These aren't just spooky stories to tell around a campfire, are they?
No, I don't think so. They feel more like echoes of something really old in us, that human nervousness about the wild, the deep woods. They remind us that maybe some places still hold a kind of power, a mystery that we should respect. Maybe even fear a little. We don't own everything.
We've definitely walked through some dark places today with Twilight Whispers. Alara's sad lullaby, the Watcher's unnerving stare, and Mark's, well, his final, awful punchline. These stories really drive home that sometimes the biggest scares aren't in haunted houses, but right out there, just past the edge of the path, in the quiet woods.
And if you look at the bigger picture, you see how powerful folklore still is. It's how we try to make sense of things we can't explain. These tales give shape to those deep anxieties we have about wilderness. They turn it from just trees and dirt into something alive, breathing, and yeah, sometimes pretty terrifying. It reflects that primal sense that we're not alone and not always welcome.
So what's the final thought here for you, listening? Maybe the really chilling thing isn't just what might be hiding in the woods. Maybe it's what these stories reveal about that thin line between our everyday world and something else. Something ancient, maybe hungry. So the next time you're out there and it gets really quiet among the trees, just pause for a second. Is that silence truly empty? Or is it just waiting, listening?